Rolling up in blacked out cars, talking like they own the stars. Smiling for the camera flash, hands in your pocket, counting cash. Trust us this time, they'll stay. Same old trick in a brand new script. Waving papers, selling hope. Fine print line is a velvet rope. Blue suit, black heart, saying we feel your pain from the country club bar. Big speed, fake tears. Every 4 years they remember we're here. They're saving the world on a t-shirt sign while they're sipping that vintage red on your dime. Blue suits, black hearts, they love the power more than the people they mark. Every problem, they've got plans. Step 1, take more from your hands. Step 2, pick a team to blame. Step 3, walk off with the game. Talking justice, talking care, till you ask, hey, why's my street bare? They built mansions on those dreams, then called you cruel when you asked what it meant. Blue suits, black hearts, saying we feel your pain from the country club bar. Big speed, fake tears. Every 4 years they remember we're here. They're saving the world on a t-shirt sign while they're sipping that vintage red on your dime. Blue suits, black hearts, they love the power more than the people they mark. Raise your hand if you're tired of the show. Same old play in a thrift store coat. They talk like saints, vote like sharks, writing your life with invisible marks. Blue suits, black hearts, saying we feel your pain from the country club bar. Big speed, fake tears. Every 4 years they remember we're here. They're saving the world on a t-shirt sign while they're sipping that vintage red on your dime. Blue suits, black hearts, yeah. The mask falls off when the cameras go dark. Blue suits, black hearts, we're ducking
Hi, I'm Mike Netter, and each week right here on social media, we do a show called California Free Radio, Behind the Blue Curtain. We're out to bring the truth to California because this just in, you don't get a lot of it from the mainstream media. We're here to represent a lot of candidates that may not get quite the publicity they need. Tune in each week as we discuss what is going on in California and what needs to happen. California Free Radio, live right here on @NetterMike, Facebook Mike Netter, and LinkedIn. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Testing. California Free Radio. We are here. Everybody, I should have added to that promo video. We keep expanding and trying to do something very important. Scott Piotr, do you know what that something very important is?
No, tell me, Mike.
We're free because not much in California is free, and Netter News is free. Kurt, by the way, is free tonight and not here. We want to focus
on assignment, as we say.
We want to focus, and it's time to at what California government is doing to make everything you do every day, whether you're driving a car, driving to a restaurant, going to the store, to simply make it as expensive as possible. There's a lot of names for it. We talk about affordability. We talk about various terms, inflation. Simply, it costs too much. it's hard to put into words the discussions that you have with people and we see it in the price of gas, we see it in our utility bills. But this week, California again went over the top with something they're doing that we all need, something very simple called tires. Yes, indeed. They've again
Wait a
passed
second, wait a
another
second. You said tires?
tires, like the rubber things which go round and round on your car. They also this week didn't pass a law or refused to that would have lowered the price of gas by 4 to 10 cents a gallon, depending how you look at it. I just I'm starting to really wonder, and I know a lot of these people in the legislature, and I'm trying to be polite in the Democratic side. Really, I'm going to sound
Why?
conspiracy theorist here. It's almost like it's a plot to literally drive the average middle class person out of California. Um, I'm running for state senate, and I don't want to use the term affordability, but let's talk about the state has become impossible to afford. I had dinner with a few people this week who are not on the conservative side of the ledger, so to speak, and they're like, we're thinking of moving. We simply can't afford, whether it's rent, whether it's utilities, whether it's gas, whether it's food, whether it's taxes. I could spend the whole show just reading off a list. But the reality is, California is just costing too much, except for a few select group of people that are making the rules. Gavin Newsom is amongst them. And then we have these commissions like the Coastal Commission, like CARB, like these boards that aren't even elected, that are making these rules which are supposed to make our lives better, but they're not. They're making our life simply too expensive for us to live on an average basis. Um, Folks, you see it in gasoline, you see it in everything out there, but we have to firmly start taking a stand. And people ask a lot of things. We've talked about this a million times, why I'm running for state senate, why I'm making a move. It's so, frankly, I and all my friends and my relatives can afford to keep living here. And it's getting to the point where we ain't seen nothing yet, to quote the Bachman Turner old song, because things like the tires that they passed this week don't even take effect for a couple years. And to sum it up, the tires that come in your car when they're new, they now want to make them mandatory. They call them low energy tires. We have a couple of videos. We're not going to be able to buy normal tires for your car in California anymore. They're going to cost you 20 to 30 to 40% more. You're not going to be able to buy used tires or regular tires. The air conditioning which goes in your car is what we used to call Freon is a special kind. Scott, did you know that when you go now, when you need to get your air conditioning recharged, when it's 115,000 degrees outside due to climate change, okay, we'll just call it summer, okay? You can't even go. If your car is a 2000, I believe, 16 or newer, the small auto repair guy has to buy a machine which costs around $200 to $250,000 that pumps a special kind of gas because the old gas, which wasn't even freeing anymore, doesn't work. And so the recharge of just your air conditioning system now, what used to be $100 costs $300, and the people that do it, the small business, they have to go buy this machine for like $250,000. It's our very way of life seems to be under siege in everything that we do, and continually they pass laws that just don't make sense. Scott, I'm going to ask you, everybody out there, we'll look for some comments here tonight. But can we start by rolling maybe that Steve Hilton video if we could?
So which one are we talking about here?
The one where Hilton's actually talking to Joe Rogan. Did I send you that one?
Let's see what we've got here.
That one really sums it up. They're literally trying to distract us without realizing that I think everybody out there knows that the things we're doing a little bit down the line are going to cost us even more than today. They're literally making the average person in California.
So California just approved regulation that will ban 70% of the tires on the market. That will force Californians to pay more for tires every year.
Yeah, back to just facts.
There's a lot of that going on. So I don't have the Steve Hilton video on
Don't worry
that.
about it. Well, I put it up on my feed here today. It's Steve Hilton talking to Joe Rogan. And look, guys, we have to elect different people. They've run amok right now. And Hilton is basically telling Rogan that with all the things that are unaffordable in California, James Gallagher put out things this week, said, don't tread on me, okay? All the things they do in California, all the things that are wrong, and I can't find anybody anywhere that says it's running wonderfully, okay? They're literally doing stuff on tires. Did any of you wake up this morning, unless you had a flat tire, worried that the tire on your car, and they're claiming it's going to save you money on gas because it's a little more efficient. Gavin Newsom, by the way, who's driven around in a state-owned car by his chauffeur, but let's put that down for a second. It might even do that because gas is now $5 to $7 a gallon. So, I mean, Scott, what are you? We're going to talk to Scott tonight too about even building costs. Every single problem that you see in California, and I was thinking hard before the show, Scott, trying to come up with a problem which isn't related to the cost of living here, and I was really struggling to find one when it comes to crime. They're even passing a law where people steal with a purpose because they're starving. We shouldn't put them in jail. That's up. That has to do with the cost of stuff. People stealing, misdemeanors. I'm trying to think of something which is in California today that isn't related to the fact of what things cost. And I also want to draw the line. This probably relates to fraud. Because remember, everything that they do, when a tire which costs $100 costs $500, hi, Stephanie. Scott, what does that also mean they get it?
Well, you're talking about the hidden cost of regulation, right? So they didn't come out there and say, we're going to tax your tires. They just said, we're going to mandate more expensive tires because we think those are better for you.
And when they mandate more expensive tires, they collect more taxes. Remember, all your taxes, it's not $5 a tire. It's a sales tax based on the cost of stuff. And that's where I'm really starting to believe things that make you go, right? As the old song goes. Because the more they cost, the more taxes they collect. The more taxes they collect, the more of our money that disappears and gets fed into the infrastructure. Scott, I'm going to test my sound on the speaker end here, so go ahead and talk for 1 second, if you will. I'm going to mute myself.
So these tires that Mike's talking about, they came out with this mandate that you have to have tires that what they call lower rolling resistance. So theoretically, it takes less energy to push your car. So you use less gas, less electricity, depending on the kind of car you have. And that allows you to save the planet, right? We're saving the planet because you're going to be using less gas or electricity to push your car around. What they don't know is, are these tires going to last as long? We know that they're going to be more expensive. Nothing gets cheaper, right? So without knowing whatever the consequences are, they've decided that saving gas is the most important thing. Now, mind you, when this country switched over to radial tires, and we're talking back in the 70s to 80s, people just gradually started buying the better tire because the radial tires were better. You got better gas mileage, you got better traction, you corner better, and the price was within reason. So the bias ply, they're gone. You probably have a tough time buying one, even if you wanted to. Maybe for a historic car, you might be able to find a couple of retreads, but for the most part, every tire out there is radial. That's not necessarily the case with these rolling resistance tires. It may be, but they're not. There's
I
no
want to jump
guarantee.
into some of the comments we see here too, right? For starters, Ron Silva, I see you. Ron Silva has a concept he's tried to put through. Let's just say would change the way we do transportation in California. People are so absorbed with just, in effect, paying for their everyday life that they have gone beyond anything with advanced California society. Miss Kozar, I always butcher your first name here. Indeed, when it comes back to the Nick Shirley Act that they passed today for fraud and accountability, again, the news got occupied this week. All right, leaving the choice up for toys. The things we're talking about, we get distracted because they continually do stuff as they pass evil stuff. That distract us because our everyday life is simply costing so much. And so when you get a flat tire, like my friend Roxanne, chairperson of the CLA GOP did earlier this week, or when you go stop at a Goodyear or do something, okay? And forget again, things that cause tires to stop. They're supposed to be energy efficient. They're what goes on new cars. They're actually more tread efficient. They'll still be allowed on racing cars. But I'll be honest with you, I see in the comments here, right? It is up to us, Ms. Kozar. Is
Either way, it's more money. Just like the gas sign here behind me. A lot of that gas price, you look at the gas prices in California, and they're basically $2 a gallon higher than they are in the rest of the country. Why is that? Because we have a special blend, because we have a lot more regulations. Do we get cleaner air as a result of it? Debatable. Are we paying a huge premium to get that? A huge, huge premium. We don't have a choice. You have to do it. And that's not just stopping at gas and tires. Everything, first of all, everything that we have gets delivered with gas and tires, right? All of those trucks that are on the road use gas and tires. You know, I've got this price up behind me, $7 for regular, but it's hard to find diesel fuel for less than $7 a gallon right now. This sign is proving prophetic, not laughable like it started out to be. It's crazy how much it's costing and how much more it costs in California. I just got my electric bill. Now, granted, I use my air conditioning more this month than I have previous months, but still, my son lives in Kentucky. He runs his air conditioning practically nonstop in the month of August, and his electric bill was $80. Mine was $160, and I was very judicious as to when I ran my air conditioning. You know, I probably ran it, 6 days in the last 30, and he ran his all 30, and it was half the price of mine.
and I wanted
That's
some of
because
the
of California.
I
Go ahead.
wanted some of the comments on the screen. That's indeed, you're right. What they're trying to do is compress us into small areas where we don't drive. But we talked about this in another show. We are leading to disaster here. Forget even all the high density housing, as you've seen from Baltimore, New York, etc. It's a disaster in the long run. The people making these rules do not live amongst us. They're highly paid people on these boards picked by the governor. And let's talk about another bill Scott's even talked about. We talk about utility bills. There was an article out that I did not put in Netter News, but I might next week. And again, Netter News, in spite of what it costs in California, is free. And in the next couple of weeks, we've come to accept 30% increases in our water bills. Now, I want to drive a little bit deeper on a subject here in 1 second. We talk about tires, and I see some great comments as to how tires work. Look, everybody knows I ain't no spring chicken. I used to work on cars, full disclosure, all right? I'm closer to 70 than I am 60. Everyone knows that. I don't want to know anymore too much about the tires and the motor in my car. I never really wanted to know, and I was at San Bernardino, Scott, GOP earlier this week, where we endorsed members of water boards and all kinds of boards. A great county party, along with LA. We've got some good county parties here, Republicans in the state. But here's the thing, everybody. Take a look at your water bill. I don't want to know where my water comes from. I don't want to think a hell of a lot about water. I don't. The public unions, oh, there you go. Your electric bill is $300 and water bill, that is a great, right there, boom, hit it between the eyes. Your water and electric bill are becoming equal. The water bill used to be $10, $15 a month, the electric bill $50, $60. Do the proportion. As I see on the screen here, it's coming typical. Electric bill of $300 by a water bill just under $300. That's what makes California unaffordable. And we can go into water storage and we can go all the reasons. I don't want to know. I don't want my constituents to know. I don't want them to care. I want them to care about getting an education, having a job, going to church, okay? Not worried about where water comes from. And it's costing so much because the people that work at the municipal water have to make a tremendous amount of money thanks to their unions because the cost of everything in California is going up. Yes, they are eliminating the middle class. They are literally, and by the way, they're also eliminating the poor class. The poor class, and although they claim they're not, is getting crushed by this. Look, most of you watching this show, I'm going to assume you're not, and I could be wrong, so I apologize. I don't think there's many homeless people watching our show, sitting out in whatever the heck it is, 86-degree heat right now, watching the show from a street corner on their phone. So most of you are probably inside on your computer or at least on your phone watching the show. The lower economic class, I'm struggling to say, how are they being protected by what they're doing? How are they supposed to get to work if they can't afford to get a new tire? Well, they ride the metros, but those don't work and there are no jobs. And Scott, to your point, right on the money, okay? It's just, we can't build anything, Ron, until we solve the affordability problem. Period. End of sentence. People and any ideas that we have, we could build marine highways, if we could do neat stuff, but they don't want us to consider new ideas until, and Ron has worked on this for a very long time, and it's something, but the problem is the bulk of the people in California will not vote stuff in or even look at things until they stop worrying about where their next meal comes from, why a dozen eggs cost $40. It's a way really of trying to promote socialism. In effect, it's an endless cycle. We've gone on in other shows about the billionaire tax, et cetera, et cetera. We have to get them to stop making laws that in 1 to 2 years will spiral up our cost. We're going to do a show on the marine highways at some point, which is a concept basically of doing canals, etc., to take trucks off the road is the best way to put it throughout California. It's been looked at for a while. But a lot of these new ideas we have, the problem becomes Californians are worried about how they're going to pay their water bill is now equaling their electric bill. A tank of gas, okay, is now costing range of $100. Your gasoline bill is now more than your electric bill, okay? We have unions we have to do a show some point. We always talk about future shows, Scott, of what some of these people are making in these unions for not doing much. This is a problem. And if the public wants to revolt, We need to revolt against the power that the unions have, especially in the public sector. It is driving up your cost of water. It is driving up your utilities. It is making the state of California more rapidly.
Especially in the state of California. So, Mike, let's change subjects. You can see on the screen, I put the results from the Florida Democrat Senate primary that happened Tuesday. And, so here you are. You've got a Republican U.S. Senator in Florida. And so there's a Democrat primary to see who's going to challenge the new U.S. Senate candidate. And the conservative won, by the way, for the Republican side. But the Democrats are just getting more and more loony. I mean, Schumer and all of the establishment went down and supported this guy, Alex Vindman. He lost big time. He lost by 13 points here, 12 points here. This is crazy that a socialist, a total loony bin, Angie Nixon, won, spending like 1/12 of the amount of money. So it kind of segues in. I want to play this video.
Before you do, let me jump in with a comment here. I think
Go for it.
in California, and I was on with some state senators this week who brought up again the poll that more young Democrats are pro-DSA. And I don't normally like to take history lessons, but remember when communism, Stalin and Marx and those guys grew out of a revolution of Russia in the early 1900s. I wasn't there, but I heard about it on the news. Okay? Because the people were so oppressed that they revolted. And it's like they're trying to crush young people today. Be so oppressed, Scott, that they're voting for socialism because the system they claim we have now doesn't work. That's probably part of the grand master plan.
And that's what this little video is about. It's about young people and socialism. It's going all over X today, probably AI generated, but it's pretty well done. So enjoy.
Housing is a human right.
People over profit!
Workers deserve more.
Defund the police!
Oh, I hate it here. Just literally get me to the future.
I'll take you. Let's go.
Seriously?
Buckle up and get ready to see the future you've been waiting for.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
This is so great.
Where are we?
Your hometown.
Yeah.
In the future.
2050.
Housing's guaranteed now. Everyone gets a home of their own.
Wait, everyone gets free housing from the government? Ooh, can mine be near the beach or have a pool?
Maybe, but probably not. Beach property is very rare, so you'll probably be assigned one of these.
Oh,
That's
but
not
I don't
mine.
want to live
That's
here.
it.
Well, you don't have a choice. Can you believe it? The future finally has zero waste.
Incredible. Can I please have an iced oat milk latte? Did you bring your own mug? No mug, no service. Oh, okay. If I bring my own mug, can I get the oat milk latte? Oat milk latte? Oat milk is very wasteful. We only serve black coffee, nothing else.
Forget about the coffee shop. Wait till you see the government-run grocery stores.
Wait, you mean to tell me the government pays for my groceries now?
The future is bright.
Yeah.
This can't be right. $40 for eggs? The coupon is only for $100. I won't be able to afford groceries.
The future is also a little bit expensive.
Yeah. It's all free though, right?
Oh my gosh, someone call the police!
What do you mean police? There's no police anymore. Have some compassion. She's probably having a hard time.
I think I have to get out of here.
No problem. It's a perfect time to show you the public transit. It's all free now.
Oh, that's good. Wait, why isn't anyone driving them?
Workers deserve more, so the drivers don't actually show up usually. But they're nice trains to hang out in.
I don't think I'm feeling so good.
You'll be happy to know
Those
that
workers
healthcare is
union.
totally free now for everyone.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, you came at the right time. The wait for an appointment is only 72 days. Wait, are you serious? Well, if it's an emergency, it's only a 2-week wait.
72 days.
I need to go home. You need to take me home, please, right now.
But Maya, this is the future you wanted. Isn't it wonderful?
Take me back!
And by the way, on a serious note, as funny as that sounds, the future, Scott, in California
future.
may be September. Let's take a step back here. Hold on.
So you're going to
that's-
explain this, right? Why is the
Yeah,
future
that's a great
September?
video. Let's take a look here, okay? Already, all right, through Medi-Cal, Medicare, for a lot of people, they get EBT cards, whatever they call it, and we bitch about it, and they can't afford groceries. Already, going backwards to the video, people steal, and they've been trying to take out the police now for a long time. Already, how many of you, and forget that I realize again, most people watching the show don't take public transportation. But Scott, can I ask you a question? Right? You stop at the train tracks when you see a metro go by, right?
Don't have any choice. The arms come down.
You see
I
the
would
train-
zip across if I could. The heck with those guys.
but you don't see those trains packed with people, do you?
You know, you don't see people piling out of those trains. You don't see them hanging out in the windows. It just looks like an empty train a lot of times.
It's an empty train. We're spending a huge amount of money, and those drivers, funny as it sounds, okay, what you saw isn't that far off. Wait, there's more. As
What do you
we
mean?
get
Is it a high speed? Is it a high speed electric train to nowhere?
the trains, even that run, the metros they're building, take a look. They're empty. Forget even the crime and the reasons that they're empty. They are empty. Let's talk about healthcare right now. Anybody here? I've been in more than my share of auto wrecks. Gone to ER lately? Gone to urgent care lately? I don't care what insurance you have. You cannot get in immediately. Okay? You have a
Oh, it's
very
awful.
might not
The
be.
lowest wait is hours.
right. That might not be 2 weeks, but we're working on it. For any of you out there, and this is one of my platforms, by the way, that's a bit complex, okay? To understand what we're doing by giving away all this health care and putting up big buildings and big cities and compressing people, we're putting the small doctor out of business. I know people, some family members included, for example, that need to see an endocrinologist. For those of you out there going, woot, that's for type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Someone I noticed made an appointment, literally a 6-month wait to get in to see an endocrinologist. If you need to see a cancer specialist, unless you're one of the few and the blessed who maybe can go to the City of Hope because you've worked for these unions, good luck with that and getting the treatment that you need. The future is September, maybe October. It's coming at us fairly rapidly because things in California are becoming unaffordable. And as we hand out free health care, hold on, Blair.
Are we still paying for free health care for illegal aliens?
Oh, we are. We're still paying for a lot of it, even though they claim they're backing off growing the number. We are. And don't forget all those people that they let in that they're complaining that the Trump administration is allegedly kicking out. They're still here. And there are only so many doctors and endocrinologists, and the association, which represents the local doctor that you know, tends to be fairly liberal. We've looked it up and think they're destroying the local small doctor. And so you're going to be forced to go to the Kaisers, etc. of the world who have the clout, and you cannot get in. For those of you that go to a pharmacy and think you're getting free drugs, try it for the drugs you need sometime, and you'll find it's exactly as funny as that video is. It's actually a lot of the reality that we have today. We voted in, and I'm not quite sure why we voted it in, but let's put it down, free-range chickens, which means the chickens, who apparently have quite a big lobby, were complaining that they want to be allowed to run around. We did the same with pork and got sold this. Great for the pigs and the chickens, I guess, but our cost of eggs and pork has gone up dramatically, which causes the cost of beef to go up because of what they call the free hand of the market. We are continually sold a bill of goods without considering what it does to the cost of everyday life. Scott, how's my sound?
How's your sound?
Yes, am I hearing
Little,
something?
little low. Hard to hear you sometimes.
Okay.
So prices keep going up, and yet we keep electing socialists to regulate and govern us, especially in California. You know, is anybody, I mean, okay, I was raised in a Republican household. I know there are people out there raised in a Democrat household, and it's so hard for them not to vote Democratic. But really, is the Democratic Party truly representing you anymore? They've gone so far loony left that I can't believe that most Democrats really support what their elected officials, what these loony socialists are selling. But because they have a D next to them and they can't vote to the guy with the R next to him, you know, we're getting crazies in the office. I know you're running for state senate. I know you're in a district that is mostly Democrat. And I guess the question is, I mean, you're running against somebody who is a wacko liberal. She's not a DSA member that we know of. She's being investigated. There's likely going to be an indictment coming down on taking money for her own personal gain while she was on the city council. You know, who knows what'll happen. I'm not trying to convict her on the air here. But she's slime. And she votes with the union hacks up in Sacramento. She votes with the leftist wackos up in Sacramento. They're the ones giving us the high gas prices like you see behind me, and the high grocery prices, and the wacko tires, and the, you know, hey, if you investigate fraud, like the anti-Nick bill, you're going to sit there, and she's the one voting for all this crap.
She
When are they going to turn
authored
around
it.
and say,
I'm going to stop you 1 second. She's one of the authors of the Nick Shirley Act.
Shirley Act?
So if you
know,
vote
the whole
for
thing is-
Susan Rubio, you are voting for fraud and transparency. And look,
So if you
again, I get it. Hold on. I get it.
Yeah.
Most of you out there, look, Scott grew up in a Republican household. I grew up in a rather neutral household, okay? It tended to lean right, but politics wasn't necessarily around. We talked about it, but most of us grew up just trying to live our lives, okay? The reality is then, many of the people making these rules, like on the tires, even you Democrats and liberals didn't vote for them. They are boards which are appointed, which the people on these boards are making $400,000 to $500,000 a year, and are picked for terms which are 5 and 10 years. This is the Coastal Commission. This is the Energy Commission. Crap, Scott, what commission even made the tire decision, was it?
Yeah, probably the tire commission that they just started up. Who knows?
We have a
You know.
fast food commission which contains no business owners, that determines that the wage goes up. That is brand new. The Nick Shirley Act, which is to hide the fraud from us. Okay, again,
Yeah.
these are the very people that keep telling you they're going to make your lives better. And look at your damn water bill. Look what your
You
gas
know.
bill is today. Look at what eggs cost in the grocery store. Quit trying to blame it on the federal government. We say all politics is local. Most of your food supply and food and fuel supply tends to be local in California. Okay.
Well, there's still no excuse as to why gas costs $2 a gallon more in California than the rest of the country. You can't blame the war in Iraq for that, war in Iran. So, you know, that video is funny. And by the way, we had a request. Where can you see? You can see on on my X feed at textfighter7.com. But it's funny is because it's true. It's funny because it's happening, and we're laughing because we're kind of nervous that it might actually happen. And of course, the falsehoods that are in that thing are that there's no way you can have a society without police. There's no way you're going to have all these nice, beautiful new homes, even if you get assigned a home that you don't like. The socialists are incapable of building anything on their own. They can only take what someone else has built. And I mean, look at the idiot Newsom in spending what does he spend? $32 billion on homeless, and what has resulted as a result of it? We have more homeless. I mean, this graphic is a crack up. It's 26 billion reduced homeless from 35,000 to 175,000, and he brags about it or blames Trump. I mean, there are only two choices. They either take credit for it, good or bad. They think bad's good sometimes. That's why they do it. Or they blame Trump. I mean, aren't you kind of tired of having them blame Trump? When are they going to own their own stuff? And when are the voters going to wake up and say, enough's enough, I can't take the craziness, and vote with whoever's on the other ballot, or whoever the other guy is on the ballot? Just anybody but the incumbents. Give me a break.
Scott,
Well,
we
unless
have
you
a
have,
question. Are you going to
I can understand why.
You're going to repost that video. We'll make it downloadable to show again. But to answer one of the questions we have on the screen. But look, everybody, huge reality. Okay? Huge reality here. Okay? They're going to do what they can to drive whatever your I don't care what kind of household, if you grew up in a Democrat household, a Republican household, a Baptist household, whatever kind of household. The people that don't live in those households that are in this state, and by the way, we talk about Newsom a lot, as is on the screen. It's the legislature making these rules, and the Senate and the Assembly. We have to elect different people. We have to roll back a lot of these regulations and quit making idiotic ones.
Good luck with that. I mean, the Babylon Bee made fun in this picture that I've got of Newsom and DeSantis, and it's the joke was because Florida just had their primaries 2 days ago, and they already have results. And Newsom's calling up, how'd you do that and get results in the same night? I mean, you've got to take at least 5 or 6 weeks to count the ballots. What a bunch of idiots. And of course, the fun side of that is that you have the idiots at the WNBA can't even define a woman. I mean, hello, what's the W stand for? And you can't define what the W stands for, and they're holding it up on committee. This picture of what the WNBA is going to look like is not out of line. You got all these NBA stars that maybe are retiring from the NBA, and now they're just going to move over to the WNBA, identify as a woman for basketball purposes, and enter the draft. And these idiots in the NBA don't know how to handle it. Really? Are we that screwed up?
Yeah,
by the way, Mike, as a candidate, do you know what a woman is?
I'm pretty sure I do. I have kids.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Does it have an X and a Y chromosome?
We're not going right there with that, Scott. We know what a woman is. Here's why they want us to even talk about what a woman. And again, I'm not a biologist. I'm a physics guy. Okay, they want us to talk about that because they don't want us to pay attention. Look.
To the price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of tires, the price of living in California.
If you don't like what's going on in your schools, what are you supposed to do? They don't want to put in school choice. Okay, they want to make private school unaffordable because they don't want to put in school choice. They don't even want your damn kids going to school, so they grow up with oh well, that's just the way it is, kind of like that video, except we are going to have kids growing up that way. We
So
have
yeah, I mean, you heard what they're doing to warn their kids. It's back to school time, right? And
Mhm.
most of California schools have started again. And why in the heck they start in the middle of August? Because they're morons. They can't actually teach kids in the 8 to 9 months that they have for them. They have to stretch it out into 10. But the Babylon Bee had a great one. And all the things you have to tell your kid. Now, don't do this. Don't believe in the, a man is a man and a boy is a boy and a girl's a girl, and don't let them fool you around. I mean, really, it used to be you'd worry about what they were wearing, whether they had enough pencils and paper, and now you got to warn them that they may try and convert you from a boy to a girl. Don't let them do that.
They're
And it's
putting
kind of like,
things like the billionaire tax on the ballot under the guise it's going to help with health care. I ran a petition person who was saying, hey, let's give lunches to kids in schools. They have to, so many kids depend on, if they have to depend on lunches from school, which, by the way, my lunch was not filet mignon. It was a term called a bologna sandwich on Wonder Bread, which most of us grew up with, okay?
and you
If
never
you
asked what was in it, right?
you never dared ask what's in it, and you just hope you got a bag. And we all got bags. So my point is, if a parent can't afford to give their kid a $2 or $3 lunch, and the school has to pay for those lunches, do you think it's the system? It's the cost, and that's exactly what they're trying to drive us at. Everything that they're doing is so they think the government will. It's costing you more. Everything. And by the way, let's go back to that water bill and utility bill. You're not going to live without water and electricity. Okay? I don't know what they expect. But when your water, like Stephanie put up there, when your water and electric bill is $300 each, 500. By the way, this is the people I see talking about this. I raised my family in San Diego. The average electric bill went up about $800 to $1,000. I'm not
Wait a
missing.
second. I'm sorry. You lost me. The average electric bill is what?
$800 to $1,000 in San Diego because
$800 to $1,000.
it's a lot
Wow.
more because Semper says they can't spread their costs over a bigger area known as San Diego Gas and Electric. When I moved up to the Los Angeles area, I got sticker shock by how low the bill was here. I thought there was something wrong with it because people in San Diego, and you can Google this, okay? We have a system which is broken. We know that, and they're gonna allow more disasters to happen, and we don't have. Look, everyone out there, God bless you. Have time to watch the show, spread the show. Please contribute to me for state senate. Do what you can. But the average person out there, when they get hurt, when they get sick, when they want to do something called eat, when they want to get somewhere to take their kids to the doctor or eat, or buy groceries or eat, or have power for in their house to cook their food, is not going to be able to afford to do it. I know some very good young people making some pretty good bank that are going like, how am I supposed to live in California? Scott's an architect. I want to take a brief moment. We talked about this earlier. Scott, you've been building things since the Flintstones, correct?
Long time. Yeah.
Right. Scott's underselling himself. In the Flintstone, Fred and Ethel's house was designed by Scott. But we won't go there. Okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
And give us an example. If I want to build a single family dwelling, let's assume I have a rich uncle I didn't know about it that gave me the land. Let's put the tax Prop 13 stuff aside. I've been given the land. Okay.
You're too far away from the mic. It's hard to hear you.
I've been given the land. Can you hear me now?
Much better. Thank you.
Okay. Now before I was yelling, I'm going to yell again. I've been given the land. Okay. And let's assume I get a loan for the money. Okay. what are some of the hoops I have to jump through? I've got the land, I've got the money. When can I expect to start breaking ground on my house? And what hoops do I have to jump through in California?
Okay, obviously every jurisdiction is going to be slightly different. And in fact, I am trying to do that exact same thing. I picked up a piece of utility property and in the middle of a planned neighborhood, and I'm trying to convert it. And it took me from the point of submittal to the point where it's ready to go to the planning commission 9 months. It had to go through a master plan process, and it took the city that long, and the city's fees to review it have totaled so far around $30,000. In most of the rest of the country, if you have house,
what is this? A house?
Just a single family house.
Okay.
And in most cities around the world, most cities around the country anyway, you have what they call, right to build. Your home, the property that you bought is, zoned residential, and you want to put a house on it. You just submit plans and pull a building permit. But in California, you have to go through the California Environmental Quality Act, and there's a lot of properties that are, like mine was zoned properly, but they required a master plan. And the master plan basically takes me to the planning commission. And, why is the planning commission getting involved in a single family home development? It shouldn't. It should be a matter of, I show how I comply with the rules, the zoning, and you give me a building permit. And then on top of that, just the process, you get killed by the process. You have fees. You have an affordable housing fee. You have an affordable in lieu park fee. You have school fees. You have transportation fees. You have processing fees. So for my single family home, I'm looking at $75,000 to $100,000 in just fees. Now, unless you're like me doing your own architecture, you've got to hire an architect to get you through this process. So between your architectural fees, your city fees, just to get to the point where you're ready to pull a building permit for something like that is close to $200,000, and you haven't hired a contractor or done any construction at all at that point. You've just gone through the process to say, I can build what I say I'm going to build. It complies with the rules. Here's how it complies with the rules. And then pay all of those fees for the privilege of building a house in that jurisdiction. Now, this is just for, one unit. And the fees are extraordinarily high. Your in lieu park fees, your in lieu affordable housing fee. And in lieu affordable housing fee is a pure tax, right? I'm paying a fee so that someone else, their home can be subsidized and they can buy it or rent it for less money. It's a pure redistribution. The school tax or school fee theoretically is, hey, I'm going to create a demand on the school system. I have to pay my fair share of constructing that system. Not to mention the fact that enrollment is decreasing across the state and there's plenty of room. Guess what? You still have to pay the freaking tax. And then transportation fees. I'm going to be adding cars to the road. Now, it's built into your property taxes. You're paying for all that maintenance. They're not going to widen the road for my one house. They built the road to accommodate that planning area or tract. And yet I still have to pay a transportation fee, even though theoretically it's covered in your property taxes. And in most other parts of the country, that is the case. The road's already there. They're not going to be building a wider road because you're building your house. So 200,000.
Okay, so by the time, I have a rich uncle I've just discovered. He's buried in my garage. Don't tell anybody. I have the land. The lot is clear. Forget even the fees for a second. Let's assume the rich uncle has left me in his coffin when I opened it up. I found a good wad of money to pay these fees. How long would it take me to actually break ground and build something?
That's the next problem you've got is that, let's say you get to that point where you've actually pulled your building permit and your building permit's in hand. You've got approved plans. Now all you have to do is build it and move in. Obviously it's going to depend on how complicated the house is, but let's look at a typical 1,500 square foot 3-bedroom house, 2-story high. It's when you're doing a one-off, it's not like you've got any kind of economies of scale like a tract house would have. It's not like they're building 100 homes, and so the electrician, everybody else, they know they cut the wire this way,
hold
they
on.
do it this way. and
Scott,
so
what
on.
I'm driving at here before we run out of time is I still have to get approval on these. I still, assuming I've got all that and I've got the money, I still can't break ground. Look, and the reason I know about this, and I'm quizzing Scott, for those of you that don't remember or don't know, my house burned to the ground in the wildfires caused by the utility companies we were paying $1,000 a month to in 2007. And again, we had the money, we had the land, and virtually it meant much. This is why the Palisades most isn't rebuilt. So Scott, even if I forget the economies of scale, the rich uncle has left me a good wad. When can I actually, from start to finish? I've even bought the lumber, Scott. I have it in my driveway. Okay.
You're gonna spend at least $250 a foot, which used to be what you'd spend on a custom home.
How long is it going to take me to do? I have to get approval.
And realistically, you're going to probably spend more like $350 to $450 a foot, and it's going to take you. It used to be you could say, you can finish a home simple 1,500 square foot with a garage, 6 months. No, with all of the inspections that you need, all of the special reports, getting the grading permit, and all everything signed off ahead of time before you can start doing your building permit. If you get a house done in 8 months, you're flying. It's often a year, and that's if everything's in order and you don't run into any hiccups along the way. You don't have problems bringing Edison and all the utilities into the property or any of these kinds of things. You don't have debris from a fire that you have to remove.
And Scott's optimistic about that because it's been almost a year and a half and almost 0 homes are built from the Palisades. Look, Scott, it's a bit about time to wrap this up, but let's again make the point to everybody. Who are they making it? So who can afford to live here in California? And
it's basically the haves and the have-nots, right? The rich and those that rent. And, hey, you've got kids here and they're renting. We've got friends that are renting. We're renting. To find a 2-bedroom house in Orange County, 2-bedroom with a garage condo that you can rent, you're paying $4,000. You're paying $4,500 a month. It's not cheap.
And they're trying to make it. So
how are you supposed to pay that kind of rent, save up money for a down payment, buy a house, get a mortgage? You got to make a lot of money to be able to do that in California.
They want to slam whatever they're doing between rent, food, gas. I want to ask yourself a question before we leave this show. What has the legislature of California done in the last 5 years, let's say? Let's say we'll go the last 5 years since the recall hit the ballot. We'll go 6 to relieve your cost of living. Forget all the hyperbole. We've got fraud. We know they're sucking money out of the system. But by the way, I'm at Netter Mike. I'm at netter.vote. I challenge you to email, to text me. My number's pretty public. To do anything that tells me what has the government of California done for you the last 5 years that you could say has lowered what you pay for things. Forget Trump, forget the Fed, forget Iraq, forget everything. This is California Free Radio. The show is free. My newsletter is free. Living here is becoming too expensive. What has the government done? And then I want you to tell me, in all seriousness, because I'm fighting for you guys, fighting for everybody out there, what do you, and an article was written about me where I state a lot of what I want to do, but I want you to tell me what legislation do you want Mike Netter to fight for that will lower your cost of living, lower what you pay every day? Shoot me, and I'll tell you what, come expletive, deleted, or high water, I'm going to fight for that. The power belongs with the people in California, and it's about time we exercise that power and stop letting anonymous boards and people behind really big fences and armed guards deciding how we should live, but more importantly, what we should pay for it. My name's Mike Netter with Scott Piotr. We're every week on California Free Radio and with Kurt, and I want to challenge you this. Tell me what you want me to do to lower your cost of living in California, and let's get it done, because let's price those expletive deleteds out of the state so we can stay here. God bless you. Good night. We'll see you next week. Scott, any final words?
Hey, California Free Radio, where we're bringing you the real truth from behind the blue curtain. So check us out on TaxFighter7 or Netter Mike on X. And you can check out Mike Netter at netter.vote. That's his campaign website. You can make a donation there. And you can also drop him a private text and let him know what you want him to do in Sacramento when he gets elected. So let's flip the tables on these guys. And we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat station, 6:30 on Thursday. Signing off.
They said trust the experts while they locked up the town. Gave us 12 more genders. Took our paychecks down. Flag on the porch. They call you extreme while they cash big checks and scream on your screen. Tear up the script like it's 1776. Hey, hey. They're allergic to bricks and sticks. All
We're here.
blue check, big talk, no grit. We the ones they can't censor or fix. Oh, sing it loud, that's the trick. Red, white, and really annoying.